Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Saturday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing great out there this morning and having a wonderful start to your day and a great beginning to your weekend out there. Here to bring you the latest information that we have on what's going to happen weather-wise across the entire lower 48 for your Saturday. A couple areas, run the risk of some strong to severe storms. All in all, not a super active day expected for today. Tomorrow might be a little different as we do run the risk, I would say a higher risk of strong to severe storms across the northern sections of the country. And we'll speak more on that here in the next video or two and get you guys covered. I'm really thinking about doing a video for this evening, really breaking down the tropics and that severe weather threat for you folks up in the Dakotas, Minnesota, and surrounding states for the coming days ahead. So we'll break down today's forecast, and then we will give you updated information on the tropics from, the overnight model guidance into this morning. As there has been a little bit in the way of some changes, it looks like things are upticking ever so slightly. Is this a trend? I think this weekend will be huge into figuring that out. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put those in the comments below. You guys might notice that I might zip through today's forecast portion of the video pretty quickly. Number one, I am biting the dust on time right now. I got to get out of here pretty quickly, so this video is going to be quick. So hopefully you guys don't notice too much, and I'm zooming through it pretty fast. And then the number two reason is there's just not a whole lot to talk about across the entire lower 48 for today. So with that being said, let's get rocking and rolling. So as far as what's happening right now, there is a lot of areas experiencing some rain, even some storm activity, nothing severe. We got rain up here in the Pacific Northwest. We got some beneficial rain falling across the western U.S., northern California, northern Nevada, even a little bit of light rain up into Idaho. A little bit of action across the Four Corner states. So we got some scattered downpours and storms and showers, just rain across eastern Kansas, starting to move into western sections of Missouri. In fact, it already has. Like around the Kansas City area, you guys might be dealing with a soggy start for your Saturday morning. We got some rain just off the South Carolina and Georgia coastline here. As moisture is gradually beginning to push a little bit further north, we are waking up to another comfortable morning across the eastern U.S., but our mornings are limited as far as the awesome air mass that we got. All of us have pretty much been dealing with over the last really 3 to 4 or 5 days. It definitely is going to warm up, so it was just a teaser to fall. I think most of us knew that. I don't think there was I hope there isn't anybody out there that thought that this was just going to be a sudden flip from summer to fall. I think we all knew better than that, but it has been nice. I've been ripping and raving about this air mass, the longevity of it. It's just been incredible. So we got that little bit of energy skirting across areas of Quebec and Ontario. This might try to make it to New England a little bit later this morning to this afternoon. So this is what's going on right now. Watches, warnings, advisories. Heat is the big story across the middle of the country. Everybody in orange. You guys have heat advisories, excessive heat warnings down in those purples in Oklahoma, northern Texas. We do have excessive heat watches for like southern Minnesota. Areas of western Wisconsin. So, this might get upgraded to some sort of advisory, excessive heat warning. So that does include the city of Minneapolis. So red flag warnings is starting to get very dry quick out here across the northern Rockies and those hot pink colors across Wyoming, Montana, areas of Utah, even southern Nevada, even some high wind. I believe that is high wind warnings across areas of Nevada. So some breezy and very windy conditions across, northern Utah, not Nevada. So flood watches up right now for the rain falling across northern California. There is some flood watches up for southeastern Georgia, extreme northeastern Florida. I think that does include Jacksonville. So we've had some rain kind of dancing around this area over the last couple of days with the stalled boundary. But the excessive rainfall outlook for today, not actually expecting much more rain from what we're seeing right now. So just a couple marginal risk areas, so not a big deal at all. The Storm Prediction Center, just a few marginal risk areas to just be aware about. One across Colorado and just the Rockies into the high plains. You got this one small area across western Oklahoma, level 1 out of 5 risk. And then you got an area to watch out for here in areas of, I would say, western Missouri and central Missouri. So, this is just driven off some gusty winds and some small hail that's possible, but not a big severe weather day by any means. So the southeast today, this tropical moisture will continue to dance around off the coast of the southeast and the Gulf of Mexico. And we'll continue to move this forward. We take it to midday. Definitely a lot of activity sort of between the Bahamas, Florida, and Cuba. Most of this is staying offshore, but we will get a push of moisture into like the Miami area, southern Florida. Some heavy downpours are possible in southeast Georgia along the coast. We got a lot of rain just off the coastline. As kind of just an organized blob of energy. It's trying to get its act together. We'll see if that can sneak into the Gulf of Mexico. Not expecting much if it does, but it's just something to watch. But we'll continue to get into this evening. Not a whole lot going on. Some lingering downpours across Florida. And then, as we get later into this evening, some of this could make it into the Outer Banks. Just more widespread activity as possible in southeast Georgia. And then we're waking up tomorrow morning to maybe some downpour activity across southeast Louisiana, maybe the coastal regions of Alabama, Mississippi. But, for 90% of the southeast, it's quiet weather today. The northeast, quiet start, quiet morning, quiet afternoon, quiet evening, quiet overnight. I mean, you might get some sprinkles overnight into Vermont, New Hampshire, and the western Maine. But, folks, it's just day 2 of just really nothing going on up here. So enjoy your start to your weekend. The south central U.S., just scattered energy about. The leftover energy will surge south and kind of ride the back end of this frontal boundary in Missouri and Arkansas, and sort of surge north to south. So we'll be dealing with some showers, maybe some storms. That's why you have that marginal risk in Missouri for, the potential is there from late morning to early afternoon. This will surge down to Arkansas. So be aware of this if you're in Fayetteville, the Ozarks. Some storms are possible. These could make it all the way down into the Texarkana area. And then, of course, you see the widespread action across Colorado, New Mexico, once again, as the flow's going right through this area. So just scattered downpours, some storms, nothing too crazy at all. Some scattered downpours are possible in western Texas also. Not a whole lot going on for the rest of Texas that really needs the rain. And then we take it all the way to tomorrow morning, and just a quiet start to your Sunday morning expected. The north central U.S., there is a risk for some storms up here, but we take it to this afternoon. You don't really see much of anything, but we could get some pulse storms up here. If we go and look at this, there is a risk of thunderstorms, and just realize Rocket is with us, so we'll see what he does and meanders around, but we'll keep this rolling here. I think Rocket is a fan favorite anyways, my cat. If you're watching, you're like, dude, who is Rocket? That's my cat that likes to sneak around behind me sometimes when I'm making these videos. But we're getting into this evening. Nothing going on up here all the way into tomorrow morning. Could get a little bit of shower activity along in the wee hours of the morning along the Wisconsin-Minnesota border, but not expecting much out of this. The western U.S., I would say, is the most active weather-wise today. We're dealing with the rain this morning in Seattle. This will try to move across the entire state of Washington, especially the northern half of Washington. We're going to continue to deal with some downpours across northern Cal, southern and southeastern sections of Oregon, northwestern Nevada. You see the activity over here across the Four Corners region. We got some shower and storm activity maybe surging through Montana and Idaho. Just kind of two separate areas. You got, this area down here, and then we got kind of this area up here, and there's not a whole lot in between. So, but all in all, folks, I mean, this really isn't an active pattern as far as significant weather or anything like that. Now, I will watch, as we're getting into the wee hours of the morning tomorrow in Nevada around Elko, watch for some heavy rain, maybe even some snow way, way up in higher elevation. Well, we'll see what happens with that. But as far as rainfall over the next 24 hours, there's the pocket right here, up here in the Pacific Northwest, and then across the Four Corner states. So just kind of pockets of rainfall out here. But temperatures, another nice day in the Northeast, 70s, I would say, is the average up here. The Southeast, 80s. You start to get to the South Central U.S., 90s, and even temperatures well over 100. And it's starting to warm on up here in the North Central U.S., the Great Lakes region. Those comfortable fall-like temperatures are pretty much done for now, 80s. But of course, we're in late summer now, getting closer to September, so we'll start to see frequent cold fronts that'll cool us back down up here. But temperatures across the high plains, it'll be a hot one. That's why you got heat advisories across the plains, 90s and 100s across everybody in the middle of the country, some 80s also. And then we got this big trough digging down across the western U.S., so that's why you got these really cool temperatures. Even the Valley of California, only 70s, maybe low 80s. Even the desert Southwest, I mean, 90s and 100s. I mean, that's not that bad for this time of the year. So definitely cooler temperatures across this area. So I know I zipped through that very fast. For people that are wanting more detail, I mean, there's not a whole lot of detail to discuss. And, you know, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, just a little bit in a hurry this morning. So if you're like, Mitch, dadgum, man, you just raced through that forecast way too fast. Or if some people might be like, man, that's more like it. But anyways, I do apologize for that, you know, being rushed. But an update on the tropics, of course, we'll always start off by showing you guys the latest graphic from the National Hurricane Center. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, but we're starting to see some things out there. So let's go on and discuss that. Let's look at the latest GFS. And let's get this in motion. So we'll start Monday. We get into Tuesday. Not a whole lot out there. Now I want you to kind of keep your eyes right down here on this blue. Almost said blue. Yeah, there's snow out here in the Atlantic. The green right here. This is a tropical wave. I'm watching this, and then I'm watching something kind of in this area right here that will kind of start to show up on your screen as I get this back in motion. Okay, we're in the next Wednesday, next Thursday, next Friday. I mean, we're getting pretty far out. We're a week out, still not really seeing anything. Next weekend, and then we're kind of starting to see some sort of energy right here getting going. And then there's going to be something that shows up here in the Gulf of Mexico, a little spin, and there's a wave right here, not really threatening anybody except, you know, the fish out in the ocean. But I mean, guys, once again, we're past 10 days. This is the second GFS in a row that has showed something spinning up in the Gulf of Mexico from like energy in the Caribbean that kind of gets into the Gulf of Mexico into the first couple of days of September. We got to watch that. We all know, if you don't, now you do, that the Gulf of Mexico is like rocket fuel right now. Okay, the sea surface temperatures are like bathtub waters. They have been for a couple months. So you notice like past 10 days out, things start to get a little active. You get this little tropical energy here in the Gulf. You got this feature right here. Now, you know, you look at the European model. What's going on with the euro? Well, there's that wave again, kind of a blob of green. And we get this in motion. Just looks like, you know, a lot of moisture down there in the monsoon trough. And, you know, all of a sudden we got this wave here past 7 days. Once again, this is like next Saturday evening. And we got a wave right there cruising, you know, across areas of the western Atlantic here. And, but, you know, you get all the way to the end of the run and there's nothing dominant on your screen, right? There's no main piece of energy whatsoever anywhere. Now, a better way to look at this when you have lack of a precipitation output on your screen, a better way to look at this is energy in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. And this is indicated on this by the yellows, the orange, and the reds. This tells us where there's energy way above our heads. So we get this in motion pretty quick, right? And, you know, this is the euro again. And we get into midway next week. You're not really seeing anything out here. No, I mean, yeah, you're seeing slashes of yellows. But, I mean, there's energy in the atmosphere everywhere, right? But where's a big dominant piece of energy like this up here, this big trough, and then this trough right here? And so forth. So you keep this going. Here's a big wave coming off Africa right here. I have to watch what that does. But, you know, at home, closer to home, yeah, I mean, you see this little spin up right here, which I think is the same energy the GFS is trying to pick up on, except it moves it, you know, further north until just off the coast of the southeast. But you start to watch this area right here, and there's not really still anything showing up that, like, just makes your eyes go straight to it on the energy map. Now the GFS, what about that? Now you keep this going, and there's a little wave right here. See this little area in yellow and almost orange here? There's a little wave right there. And then I want you to watch kind of right in here. And I know this is kind of small on your screen. There's just no point in zooming into these areas because we don't know if this is going to really happen at all yet. There's a big wave right here. This is showing up a little bit more potent. There's a little spin right here. And, you know, you take it all the way to like 12, 13 days out. You got a wave right here. You got a wave right here. And you flip it and you see what this looks like compared to like the precipitation outlook. There it is. There's the L, and then there's the L, and we compare it back to it just to kind of, you know, educate you guys on what it looks like when you compare what the precipitation looks like compared to the energy. There's that energy, and then there's that energy. So all in all, guys, you know, you're starting to see more energy out there, but of course, I still wouldn't call it a trend. Now we get into, I would say, I might do a video this evening kind of giving you a more just detailed update on the tropics. If we get into this evening, we got a whole day's worth of model runs, evening worth of model runs, and I do a video this evening, and, you know, we're starting to see more and more of an uptick then okay, maybe this is a trend. 24, 36 hours worth, that could be a trend. Right now, I would not call it a trend. But I will say this, something that's been, just nothing out there. This is the European ensemble. It is liking this wave right here. And this goes through 10 days out, so 10 days from right now. It's liking a wave developing in the central Atlantic and then kind of cruising west. So that is a decent signal. I mean, remember the EPS makes up 51 members. So this is like, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, I'm not counting all that. So that's almost half the members. That does show some sort of tropical wave. And then you look at the GFS ensemble, and it shows this, and this is the one from overnight, that the 06Z is still running. It does show something kind of trying to develop in the Gulf of Mexico. I will mention that. It shows something trying to, that really, that really tries to get going here in the Western Caribbean and sort of sneaks, maybe affects the Yucatan Peninsula, maybe gets deep into the Bay of Campeche. So the European ensemble doesn't have anything to do with that. But it does show this wave right here. And I think that's something worth watching. Now, we kind of flip back and we look at the 06Z. Let's see how far out we are. And yeah, we're not far enough out yet, guys. But it does, show that signal about 144 hours out. So, folks, that's all I got. Stay tuned for tonight. I'll kind of let you guys know ahead of time. I know I haven't made an evening video in over a week. There's just, folks, I think you know what I'm going to say. There just hasn't been a whole lot going on. So, I think I might spend some time with you guys on the Tropics this evening, but I might not. I just don't want to say for sure. But I definitely don't want to do it tomorrow evening. I'm trying to reserve Sunday unless there's something extremely significant to no videos in the evening. But, of course, if there's something significant going on, then I want to keep you guys updated. But God bless all y'all. You have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll talk to you again soon.